Hey there, and welcome to the Tax Sale Podcast, where tax sale investing is made easy. My name is Casey Denman. I'm a tax sale veteran. I am the leading tax sale expert. I'm the author of The Tax Sale Playbook. I'm the founder of the Tax Sale Academy, and I am your host right here on the Tax Sale Podcast. Thank you so much for joining me on today's podcast episode. As a reminder, this is a completely free podcast. I don't charge a listing or membership fee or anything like that, and it's brought to you through and because of the Tax Sale Academy. So if you are looking to learn more about investing in tax default real estate, including tax liens and tax deeds, make sure you head on over to taxsaleacademy.com. Again, that's taxsaleacademy.com. All right, today I want to discuss beating tax sale information overwhelm. So I've been very fortunate over the years to have shared my knowledge of this business with so many people. Many of these people are just like you, and they heard about or came across the tax sale business, and they're wanting to grow their incomes and their net worth. And I think it's incredibly admirable. I truly wish that more people in this world would continue pushing themselves outside of their comfort zones to live the lives that they desire instead of just being content with where they're at. But that's another lesson for another day, I suppose. Regardless, I hear from a lot of people who are just getting into the tax sale business. And oftentimes, there are going to be two different types of personalities when it comes to learning this business. You have the first person, where they hear about tax liens and tax deeds, and they oversimplify everything in this business. Okay, buying them cheaply, selling them for more money, move on to the next one. That's all they think you have to do. You know, if it was a child, you'd probably refer to that person as an quote, know-it-all. They're not interested in learning. They don't care about what to do. They don't care about what not to do. They don't care about the risk mitigation, or any of that nonsense. They want to do it, and they want to do it right now. Don't waste a single second. That person is the same person who's going to email me in about 2 months asking what they should do with the house that they thought they purchased, but they later found out had been demolished a year ago. Or they'll ask my opinion on the retention pond that they purchased that they now cannot do a single thing with. They approach this business with reckless abandon, and they'll pay for it. Now, the second type of person is the one who consumes, gets overwhelmed, and then they consume some more. Yet, they typically have trouble of truly understanding anything because they never put the information that they consume into action. Instead, they get analysis paralysis, and they never do a single thing with what they learn. They never do a single thing in this business, and ultimately, they'll have wasted a lot of time. And I get it. It is difficult to get started in something new, especially when it comes to going outside of your comfort zone. Obviously, the ideal person falls in the middle of those two people that I just described. The person that takes the time to learn, but eventually takes action. So I want to go over some of the biggest suggestions that I have when it comes to finding that balance, when it comes to doing it the right way. The first one is simply to accept that learning is required. You have to stop with the mindset that you're just going to go out and start buying tax defaulted real estate. That is a fast track to failure, because I've seen it time and time again. And it's almost a guaranteed way to ensure that you leave the tax sale business very quickly with less money than you came into this business with. I'm sorry, that's just the way it works. Learning by immediately going out there and doing is a bad approach. Instead, commit to learning prior to investing. But don't just go out there and haphazardly learn. Tell yourself, I'm going to spend the next month or however long you decide to simply focus on learning this business. That's all I'm going to do. I'm not going to invest. And then do that relentlessly. Go through the process as if you're studying for the biggest exam of your life. Know everything possible about this business and learn all you can in the time frame that you have available. The second one, find a trusted resource to learn about. And this one is tough. And I hate to even discuss it here, but the amount of so-called experts that pop up on a near daily basis is a little alarming, because I know people are trying to learn from these folks. It alarms me especially when people send me clips of these so-called mentors that I've never heard of that are just entirely wrong. My number one suggestion when it comes to finding a mentor is to find somebody local to you. Find somebody that you can actually sit down with and discuss your business with. Find somebody who's a career, successful tax sale investor. Somebody who's been through multiple market cycles, and somebody who hopefully invests in a lot of areas, and somebody who's willing to invest the time into you to actually give you feedback, to actually discuss the business with you in depth. And take your time doing this. I listened to virtually everybody back in 2005 and 2006. I did not take the time to actually make sure the people I listened to were qualified to give me advice. I quickly realized most of the people I listened to in 05 and 06 had no idea what they were talking about by the time 2008 rolled around. Oddly enough, I'm still in business. And most of those folks that offered unsolicited advice, they've been long gone. Now, if it is not possible to find a local trusted mentor, there is a wealth of information online. The biggest problem that I see, however, is that new investors have a hard time deciphering who to trust, who not to trust, what is correct and what is not correct. So I highly suggest that you look at the long-term credibility of the person you are learning from. First off, have they been around for more than a month or two? Have they been through multiple market cycles? And that's a big one because everybody seems smart when the market's good, but what did they do when the market declined? What did they change in their approach to this business? You can learn a lot by looking at somebody's history. What contributions have they made to the tax sale investment community? Are they helpful? Do they offer some sort of trainings without cost, without expectation? Have they produced tax sale materials that can help you, that have taken time, effort, and perhaps even money to produce, like a book? Or are they trying to sell you some regurgitated information as their, in quote, big secret in the form of a 30-minute video or some sort of PDF they threw together last night? And the last one, is this person a dedicated tax sale expert? I've seen so many people calling themselves a tax sale expert in this video. The next video that they shoot, they call themselves a wholesale expert. The next one, a credit repair specialist. The next one, a crypto expert. The next one, they call themselves an e-commerce expert. The deal is, somebody that is doing well in the tax sale business likely should have more deals that they can handle in this business, and they should be an expert in all those things that I just mentioned. Next one, understand that when you are starting out, you don't yet know what you don't know. So in other words, you don't know plenty about this business. You don't know what you should be learning about this business. I remember one of the first tax sale properties that I bought. I lined up my buyer, and I was already mentally counting the profits when the title company called me to say, listen, Casey, we cannot insure this title. It's a tax sale title. Like, I was supposed to know what that meant. That meant I couldn't sell the property, which ultimately meant that those profits I'd been calculating in my head were long gone. That's why it's so important to have somebody that you can trust to provide you the training that you need. The next one, you need structure. Otherwise, just aimlessly browsing around will cause you to miss loads of important information. Now, my personal favorite is a curriculum that is designed for brand new tax sale investors. So in the Tax Sale Academy, for example, we lay out the foundation of the tax sale investment business in 10 different modules, with each module building upon the previous one. From there, for example, you have access to a lot of our very lengthy workshops, which take those little tiny details of this business and explain them in depth, like investing out of the area, how to do it, analyzing property assessor reports, reading legal descriptions, and so much more. This allows you to first learn the foundation of the tax sale business, and then you continue to stack on the pieces of the puzzle. If you're learning on your own, what I would suggest is a very similar approach. Read some of the basics about the business first, maybe through the different county websites. Then take a look at their frequently asked questions page. Then browse around some more, because odds are, as you get deeper and deeper, you have more and more questions. So from there, as you get deeper, start picking it all apart. So if you see something like buyer beware, find out exactly what that means. If you see something about other liens or encumbrances mentioned, find out exactly what that means. The entire idea here is to fill in as many knowledge gaps as possible as you are learning. The next part of the process is practice. And this is likely the most important part, in my opinion. Even if you are not 100% confident with what you have learned, at some point you're going to need to put the car into drive by practicing. And I actually have this listed as one of the most important aspects inside the Academy. It is one of the most important homework assignments that I assign my members, and that's to practice. Because this is where all of your learning really starts to come together. You can look at pictures, you can watch videos, you can read text all day long, but until you start to see something in action, it might not click for a lot of people. My suggestion here is, if possible, to attend a live auction. When you do this, prepare with the same preparation that you would be doing if you were going to invest at that auction, but don't take a single penny with you. You are not there to invest. You're there to practice. You're there to observe. But go ahead, research the properties, search the titles, determine the values, prepare your maximum bid amounts, what they would be. Put together your bid sheets in an organized binder. Then go to an auction and register. Arrive early. Get a good seat. Make conversation with whomever you can. Of course, don't distract them while they're trying to bid, but be social both before and after the auction and talk to anybody that will talk to you. Write down what all the different properties sold for and any names you might hear, because you can later search those people to see if they are successful long-term investors that you can possibly get mentorships from, or maybe just research them online. But you want to go home. You want to figure out, how do my maximum bid amounts compare to what these properties sold for? Figure out which properties you would have won, if any. And maybe you found a property where you discovered things weren't like you thought they were. Maybe your maximum bid amount was $1,000 and it sold for $300,000. Obviously, you missed something there. It's a great way to learn. So once you have all this information, go back, refine your education, and continue learning. Continue attending auctions, continue practicing, and then continue refining your skills over and over and over again. I've been investing in tax default real estate for well over 20 years now, and every single day I learn something that I can apply to my tax sale business. Learning never ends as an investor if you want long-term sustainable success. So by this point, you should have the confidence necessary to pull the trigger. If not, it's likely time for some formal training. I got an email the other day that said, "Your training cures inaction." And I think that's a large chunk of what I do and what all formal training does. The entire focus should be to prepare you for real world experience. Whether you actually go out and get formal training or not, your focus should be to prepare yourself for that real world experience. So focus all you can on learning everything about this business, chunking it down to different topics, and then applying it by practicing, refining your learning, and do this over and over until you're ready to go out there and pull the trigger. So I hope these suggestions in today's episode help to provide you with a desire to continue pressing forward the right way, to learn, but not to overdo it to the point where you never act. Learn, practice, learn some more, practice some more, but eventually, above all else, go out there and do it. And because the moment you do, you will gain loads and loads of confidence to help propel your tax sale business in the right direction. That's all I got for today, folks. I truly hope that this episode of the Tax Sale Podcast has helped you out. If this episode or any of the episodes here on this podcast have helped you, please do me a huge favor and leave a positive review on whatever podcasting platform you're listening to us on today. This podcast is completely free. I don't charge a listing fee or anything like that, but your reviews that you leave on the different podcast and video platforms really help us out, and they might even start to pay it forward to somebody else who hears about this incredible business simply because you took the time to tap a 5-star review or leave a positive feedback comment. Thank you so much for listening. And if there's anything that we can do, make sure you check out our website at taxsaleacademy.com for the most advanced step-by-step training that we offer. Hey, take care and make it a successful day. We'll see you next time right here on the Tax Sale Podcast. Bye-bye.